The Thompsons had always considered themselves comfortable. Not rich, not struggling, just solidly middle class in the quiet suburb of Oak Ridge, where the houses were neat 2 stories with attached garages, the lawns mowed every Saturday, and the kids played soccer on weekends. Mark Thompson, 42, worked as a logistics coordinator for a mid-sized distribution company. His salary had crept up over the years to about $78,000. Sarah, 40, taught 3rd grade at the local elementary school, bringing home roughly $62,000 after summers off and a few stipends. Together, $140,000 a year before taxes felt like enough. They had a mortgage, 2 cars, 1 paid off, college funds started for their teenagers, Emily, 17, and Jake, 15, and they even managed a family vacation most years. But lately, the math never quite added up. It started small, the way these things do. When Mark got his promotion 3 years earlier, a $12,000 bump, he and Sarah celebrated with dinner at the new Italian place downtown instead of their usual chain restaurant. "We deserve this," Sarah said, smiling over tiramisu. The next month, they upgraded their cable to the premium package because the kids wanted the sports channels. Then came the new leather sectional because the old fabric one had permanent stains from years of spills. Each purchase felt justified, reasonable even. They weren't buying designer handbags or flying first class, just nicer versions of normal things. That was the first quiet mistake nobody ever warned them about: lifestyle inflation disguised as deserved upgrades. Every raise disappeared before it hit the bank account. The extra money funded better phones, a subscription to meal kits, it saves time, and a gym membership they used twice a month. Their savings rate hovered around 5%, barely enough to cover emergencies, let alone build anything lasting. Sarah sometimes felt the pinch when she looked at the credit card statement. They carried a balance most months. Nothing huge, $4,000 or $5,000, but the interest nibbled away. "It's just temporary," she told herself. Mark paid it down when bonuses came, then it crept back up for Christmas or back-to-school shopping. High-interest credit card debt was the second silent killer. Everyone talked about payday loans or maxed-out cards in emergencies, but nobody mentioned how middle-class families quietly financed normal life at 18 to 24% interest, turning convenience into a slow bleed. One evening in late spring, Mark came home excited. The district head position opened up at Sarah's school. She could apply. Big raise, maybe $15,000 more. Sarah hesitated. She loved her classroom, the kids, the routine, but the money tempted her. She interviewed, impressed them, and got the offer, $72,000 starting. She accepted without asking for more. "They seemed firm," she explained to Mark later. "I didn't want to seem greedy." That was mistake number 3, never negotiating. In her mind, a good offer was a gift. She didn't know the salary band went up to $82,000, or that the previous head had left partly because they lowballed her replacement. Over 10 years with modest raises, that $10,000 difference compounded into over $150,000 lost income, not counting 401k matches or Social Security credits. Sarah's retirement account stayed modest, while colleagues who asked got ahead quietly. The kids grew, and so did the expenses. Emily wanted to study graphic design at a private university 2 states away. Tuition was $48,000 a year. "We'll make it work," Mark said. They took Parent Plus loans, co-signed private student loans for Emily, and tapped home equity for the gap. Education is an investment, everyone said. Nobody mentioned the 4th mistake: over-investing in degrees with uncertain returns. Emily graduated with $140,000 in total debt, hers and theirs. Her starting salary as a junior designer, $42,000. Payments ate half her take-home. The Thompsons' extra mortgage payment stretched their budget thinner. Meanwhile, Jake begged for the latest smartphone. "Everyone has it," he said. They bought it on an installment plan, 0 interest if paid in 24 months. Convenient. Then came streaming services, 4 of them. App subscriptions, in-game purchases, small monthly payments felt painless. Mistake 5. Normalizing buy now, pay later, and subscription creep. What started as $20 here and $15 there added up to $400 a month in forgotten charges. Mark once joked they were subscribed to everything but happiness. One weekend, a neighbor bragged about his new SUV lease. Low payments, always new. Mark looked at their 8-year-old sedan with 120,000 miles. A month later, they traded it in. The new crossover had heated seats, blind spot monitoring, and payments of $580 a month. Reliable transportation, Mark reasoned, but the old car was paid off. Now they had negative equity rolled in, plus higher insurance and gas. Mistake 6. Buying depreciating assets on credit to keep up appearances. Cars weren't investments, they were holes money fell into. The wealthy drove reliable used cars. The middle class leased shiny new ones to feel secure. Investing scared them. Mark dabbled in individual stocks after hearing tips at work. This tech company is the next big thing. He put $8,000 into a hot name from a Reddit forum. It dropped 60% in 6 months. He sold at a loss, swearing off stocks. Their 401ks stayed in target date funds with high fees, barely beating inflation. Mistake 7, avoiding proper investing or chasing trends instead of boring, diversified index funds. Compound interest worked best over decades, but they started late and inconsistently. Mark's company matched 4%. He contributed just enough to get the full match, never more. Insurance was another blind spot. They had basic home and auto policies, no umbrella coverage. When a storm flooded the basement, the claim covered only $12,000 of $28,000 in damage. They paid the rest from savings. Mistake 8, underinsuring to save premiums, then facing catastrophic gaps. Emotional spending filled the voids. Sarah shopped online after tough parent-teacher conferences. Mark bought gadgets when work stressed him. Retail therapy felt harmless. $200 here, $300 there. Over a year, it totaled thousands. Mistake 9, using consumption to cope instead of addressing root causes like job dissatisfaction or burnout. They never taught the kids money basics. Allowance came sporadically, credit cards were handed out in college without rules. Emily racked up card debt. Jake thought money just appeared. Mistake 10, assuming schools or osmosis would teach financial literacy. The cycle repeated.
Then came the wake-up. Mark's company restructured. His position vanished. Severance lasted 3 months. Savings, $18,000, enough for a few mortgage payments. Unemployment dragged. Sarah's salary covered basics, but extras vanished. They downsized, sold the house at a small profit after fees, moved to a townhouse. No more vacations, no subscriptions. They ate at home, canceled gym memberships, drove the old cars again. In the quiet of their new living room, Mark looked at Sarah. "We made decent money. How did we end up here?" Sarah sighed. "We spent like we were rich, saved like we were poor, and never questioned the in-between. They started over. A simple budget. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings or debt. They paid off credit cards using the avalanche method, highest interest first. Mark took a lower-paying job, but with better stability. Sarah negotiated her next raise successfully. They maxed 401k contributions, opened Roth IRAs, invested in low-cost ETFs. It wasn't dramatic. No windfalls, no side hustles exploding, just small, consistent choices. They taught Emily and Jake budgeting apps, compound interest math, the difference between assets and liabilities. Years passed. Emily paid down her loans aggressively, switched to a higher-paying firm. Jake chose community college, then trade school, HVAC certification, debt-free, earning $65,000 by 22. Mark and Sarah retired modestly at 65. Not wealthy, but comfortable. No mansion, no luxury cruises, just freedom from payments, a paid-off home, investments that grew quietly. Looking back, the biggest mistake wasn't one big error. It was dozens of small, normal, unspoken ones. The upgrades nobody questioned, the just this once purchases, the assumption that middle class meant safe forever. They learned the hard truth. Comfort can be the most dangerous trap. It numbs you to the slow erosion until the foundation cracks. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The Thompsons didn't become millionaires, but they broke the cycle. Their kids started with awareness instead of blind repetition. In Oak Ridge, another family moved in. New cars in the driveway, premium cable, kids with the latest phones. They smiled and waved. Mark waved back. He knew the story starting again. Quietly, normally, invisibly. Unless someone talked about it.